Welcome, strangers, to Talkumentary, a show where we watch documentaries and then get together and talk about them.
Perfect. That was beautiful.
Nicely done. Mm-hmm. It's hard to know what's going on inside the mind of a cat. But new discoveries might finally open the door to our most puzzling companions. Some people don't think cats have much to offer, but we here at Talkumentary are here to prove them wrong. Forget everything you think you know about cats and snuggle up to another episode of Talkumentary. Welcome everyone to the
fun.
Thank you to the 41st episode of TalkuMEOWtary.
Decent.
No?
Yeah.
TalkuMEOWtary?
Yeah.
You like that?
Cathumentary?
TalkuMEOWtary. I'm your host, Jeff CLAWsky.
Oh,
Jeff CLAWsky.
CLAWsky's good. Yep.
That's
Okay,
good.
I'm your host, Jeff CLAWsky. Let me introduce you all to our litter of cool cats and kittens this evening. And when I introduce them, they're going to tell you how many cats they currently have and what their names are. Okay? So I'm Jeff CLAWsky.
Right.
And I have a cat named Puss. I have a cat named Finnegan. And I have my daughter has a cat named Goose. So, yeah.
Goose.
Okay. Over there scratching on a scratching post and just waking up from a nap. Good golly, Miss MEOWly.
I knew you were going to say MEOWly. I was excited. As soon as you started making the CLAWsky pun, I was like, my name is perfect for this.
MEOWly.
MEOWly here. I have two cats, Trixie and Hera.
Trixie. Ooh, those are good names.
Yeah, Trixie's a black cat too, so it's like kind of witchy.
Yeah. Next to her is the runt of the litter.
Oh.
He has a leg lifted high while he's using a sandpaper tongue to clean all of the areas. You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
PURRice Necker.
That's a good one.
Hey.
Tell me about your cats.
Oh, yes. So my roommate has a cat named Franklin.
That's a good name for a
He's
cat.
got
Franklin
a lot
is
of
good.
opinions on
The economy.
and-
Social climate,
Yeah.
politics.
And he just
How does he feel
won't let it
about?
be.
Yeah. How does he feel about like the use of plastics and how they?
He doesn't care much about plastics. He cares mostly about chicken.
Chicken,
that's
yeah,
fair.
chicken and fish. And friends, listeners, we have a very, very, very special guest with us this evening. She is the co-founder and former president of a nonprofit organization who specializes current organization
It's current, but I'm retired from it.
in trap, neuter, and return services for feral cat colonies in western Iowa and eastern Nebraska. It was called WIFCAP, the Western Iowa Feral Cat Program,
Correct.
as well as fostering and rehoming abandoned and domesticated kitties. She's the author of a children's book called My Name is Mrs. Gray. She's also was a frequent contributor to the show Cat Chat and KJAN Atlantic with Molly Barnes. Shout out to the other Molly if she's listening to this.
Great name.
She has been personally responsible for fostering, rehoming, transporting, and caring for hundreds of our feline friends over the years. She has been featured in several radio shows, newspaper articles, online blogs, and the like. And to top it all off, and you'll know why I'm talking her up so much in just a second, she had the absolute and total pleasure of birthing, raising, and being a wonderful mother to yours truly. She's my mother. She is Kathy Humann, a.k.a. Mama Cat. Hi, Ma.
Hi, honey. How are you?
Hi, honey.
Thank you for being here for our fun cat episode.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm honored.
Yeah, you're also a listener of Talkumentary. You're the one that always comes like at like 6 a.m, like, hey, I listened to this one and it was great.
It's cute.
I didn't care for that one as much, Jeff. That was a little bit scary.
That's true. I'm honest.
Yeah. So I didn't have to. So her name's Kathy, and she goes by Cat. Well, kind of like you. People call you
a lot of
Mama
people call
Cat.
me Mama
Yeah.
Cat.
Yeah, and so I didn't have to think up a fun nickname because it comes
Right,
you know.
right.
Molly picked this documentary for our show, and I knew exactly who I needed to ask to be on this one for a special guest. I'm like, I know a cat spurt. Anyway, Because my mom is on the show this evening, we have a little special treat for all of our families out there that might want to listen to this. This is going to be our very first non-explicit episode. So this is going, that's right. Feel free to grab your kids and your grandmothers and bring them along for this
Everybody
episode.
can listen.
Everybody can listen. We are going to keep the F-bombs to a 0. And if we happen to accidentally let something slip out, Matt's going to put a nice meow over the top of it. So that's right, Molly. It's time for you to put the filter on.
I will try. If I talk less this episode, you know why.
Right. Like, I'm really trying not to. And
honestly, the material in this documentary, I think you can probably make it kind of easy to talk.
It's true. It was very true.
Sweet talk.
It's all scientific-y.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just get
Scientific
excited
and
about
fun.
cats, though.
Yes.
That's true. I just love cats.
I love meowing cats.
Meowing cats. They're so fluffy.
They're so fluffy.
I kind of hope that Matt puts meows in those, even though we bleeped them ourselves. Anyway, before we go any further into the documentary, why don't you, Mother, tell us a little bit about your love for cats and how this became a thing for you? Why are you so invested in our feline companions?
Probably about 11 years ago now, we were living in Walnut, Iowa, and I've always liked cats. We've always had cats, and they're just a lot of fun. I've had them ever since I was a kid. And I hold a great responsibility to them as well, to take care of them and make sure that they're taken care of. Well, anyway, in Walnut, there was a mama kitty across the street that lived in an abandoned house. And I heard that she was taking her 5 kittens back and forth across the highway to find food. And I just thought, well, I'll call animal control and have them come and take them and find a home for them. Well, I didn't know much about feral cats at that point. She was not socialized at all.
Right.
And Potawatomi County basically told me that they could come and get them, but if they did, they would probably be euthanized before they ever got off the truck.
It's so sad.
It's very sad, but they have no room for them. I mean, I understood it. They had the Potawatomi County Animal Control doesn't have a shelter where they can put cats. There's no room for them. There's no, and these cats can't even be held when they were feral.
So, hey,
long story short.
Before you go any further, can you tell us what the difference between a feral cat and just like a stray cat maybe is? Like, what is a feral cat?
A feral cat you probably won't see in the daylight.
Okay.
You'll see it at night. It'll come out to find food or water or catch, whatever rodents or whatever that they're looking for. They've never been around humans. They won't meow at you. They won't approach you in any way. You wouldn't want to try to touch one because you'd never get close enough probably to touch it anyway. So that's chances are you'd never get hurt by one in the outdoor unless it's trapped.
Right.
So anyway, I mean, it's and also when you look at a feral cat, it's going to look fairly healthy because it's learned to survive in the outside.
Right.
A lost and stray cat will probably look more haggard, hungry, doesn't know how to take care of itself.
Right.
Because it's never had to.
Right. It's not. It hasn't never
It's domesticated.
had to.
Yeah.
It's domesticated, so it's out there and it's looking pretty bad.
Right.
I've seen some pretty bad looking feral cats too, but for the most part, a stray cat will look worse than a feral cat.
The feral cats just look like they've been beat up because they've been fighting their whole
They have
lives.
what's the battle scars.
Right. Anyway, continue your story.
So where was I?
So you had just heard about the Potawatomi gonna put them down. And
I just kind of said, never mind, don't come. And was talking to a girlfriend, Pam Witt. And
wait, what'd you say?
Pam Witt. Pam.
Panned? Are you saying Pam?
I'm saying Pam.
Oh, the D is silent. Okay.
He does that every time I say her name.
She can't say Pam's name without. Have you seen Step Brothers?
Oh my goodness, you have to
Have
Google
you seen
that.
Step Brothers? Yeah. Yeah. When
so funny.
The woman's name is Pam, and they keep going, Panned? Like
Pan?
Like how are you saying? And so she can't say Pam without me, and she'll look at me like, I know what you're about to say.
Well, she said you should trap them and get them fixed and put them back. And so I started doing some research on that, and eventually I did start. I did that with her and her 5 babies. And I'm not a social media fanatic by any means, but I liked Facebook, and I used Facebook to show pictures of what I was doing and kind of heartwarming stories about the babies and all that.
Right.
And pretty soon I was getting money.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I never had to buy a trap. I never had to buy anything.
Right.
And just kind of went.
Turns out there's people out there that are interested in that.
Yeah, very interested.
And want to
And from-
support it.
Yeah. And we had people from all over, from Chicago, from
Wow.
Texas, from, people we didn't know from all over the country. I have a friend in Delaware. I actually went to high school with her, but that was 55 years ago.
Right.
But she's heard about what I was doing, and she's been a strong supporter ever since as well.
That's cool.
What kind of traps do you, how do you trap them?
It's a special trap. It's got openings on both ends, and so one is kind of like a up and down. You can lift it up and down to get,
Like a gate.
yeah, like a gate, a liftable gate.
Yeah.
The other one is the one that is the gate that traps, and so you just put food in the back of it, and you wait till
When
they
they-
walk
Wait
in
till
there
they
and
get
it
in there.
trips
When they walk in, it then
it trips it.
trips a
Closes
little
it on
thing,
the-
closes
on
it,
the
and
side.
They can't go back.
That makes sense.
So before we get any further, let's get a few things out of the way. Please go out, rate and review our podcast on your favorite podcast streaming service. Let us know what you think of our show. If you want to connect to our crew, look for @Talkumentary Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Or, Molly, if you want to shoot us an email, you can. Do you remember the email address?
Talkumentary.
Nope. info.talkumentary@gmail.com.
I was going to say talkumentary.podcast@gmail.com.
Also, please listen all the way to the end of our show. We always have a word of the week, and if you listen for it and follow the instructions, good things will happen in your life. There's some fortune for you. So this week, we grabbed our lint rollers and we snorted some allergy spray to take a look into the wonderful and wild world of all present companies' favorite animals, I think. Right?
Yeah, I would say so.
Just
yes.
about, yeah.
Dogs are cool too, but
Yeah. But the house cat.
I don't own one for a reason, so it's whatever.
That's right. We watched a 1 hour and 7-minute TalkuMEOWtary from 2022 called Inside the Mind of a Cat.
Forget everything you think you know about cats. A new generation of scientists is challenging preconceptions.
Cat research is definitely lagging behind the dog, but now we're seeing an explosion of cat science.
Genetics-wise, you basically have a wild animal living in your house.
Yes, they have their attitude, but if you want, you can teach a cat to do anything.
The saying is that cats always land on their feet. They first have to recognize where their body is in space, using a phenomenon known as the righting reflex.
Kristen has done extensive research on what cats want. She gives cats a choice, and more than half the time, they choose their people.
Cats in the Middle Ages were associated to witches, and they had cats to get rid of rodents. There came the time when the church tried to get rid of them.
Thankfully, even during these dark times, some people continued to nurture a bond with cats.
They seem to be able to insert frequencies that overlap with the frequencies that a human baby makes when it cries.
One benefit of whiskers? They tell a cat how small a hole she can fit through.
If you want your cat to like you, one of the very first things you can do is the slow blink.
Join us as we solve the mysteries of the cat, decode their crazy antics, and decipher their hidden language. Anyone can unlock a cat's true potential if you learn their secrets.
Okay, this was directed by Andy Mitchell, produced by Irene Carolina Herrera, Jasmine Mendelssohn, and Ariane Wu. I'm so bad at names. This was a Netflix documentary distributed and streamed on Netflix. Inside the Mind of a Cat has no tomato meter reading on Rotten Tomatoes, but it has an audience score of 73% with over 53 ratings. Here's a few of my favorite ratings. A 1-star rating from someone named Ronaldo D says, "Documentary with little scientific work. Your script can be taken in 5 minutes by browsing the internet." Okay. A 2-star rating from someone called Tick-E, T-C-K-E, Ticky. Hey, Ticky.
Hey,
says,
Vicky, you're so fun.
documentary with little scientific work. Oh, it's the same one. Here, nope,
Different
sorry.
voice.
Here we go. Are all these cats neutered? If they are, all the, quote, experiments don't count.
Oh, my
It would be like making a documentary on human psychology using only eunuchs.
Okay.
Yeah. A 5 out of 5 review from an anonymous person. Way to just be proud and
Right.
loud. This anonymous person says, brilliant and interesting documentary. I have 13 cats and it really helped me consider things from a cat's perspective.
That's
13.
Too many. That's
13's
too
a
many cats.
lot.
Too many cats. And now you're just trying to figure out how to...
Right. I feel like you should have done that
Consider
about
things?
12 cats ago.
Right.
Possibly.
And finally, a 2.5-star rating from Pappy.
Happy.
Yeah, it says, it is a very surface level documentary, but cats are in it.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with Pappy.
Yeah. All right, Pappy.
I'm on board with Pappy
Nice
as well.
2.5 right in the middle. All right.
Exactly.
Pappy's
All right,
just
Pappy.
spitting truth
All right,
out there.
Pappy. All right. Anyway, we'll give you a link with credits and that kind of stuff in the showy notes. Let's get into it. A quick warning, if you don't want any spoilers on what happens in Inside the Mind of the Cat, you might want to go watch it. But there's nothing to spoil. It's all good stuff.
Just Google it. Just Google cat facts.
Google it.
It'll do the same thing.
First, let's talk about why we chose to watch Inside the Mind of a Cat this week. MEOWly.
I chose...
She was our dealer. MEOWly.
I was.
Why don't you tell us why we chose this dog for the show? MEOWly. It's all you.
Well, I chose it because I like cats and I have cats, and I was like, what don't I know about cats? Because I think cat owners have done probably their fair share of research trying to figure out what their behavior means, especially when people come over and are like, I hate cats. And you're like, not mine.
Right.
My cat's better than normal cats.
Right.
Also, I don't trust people who don't like cats.
So here's the thing.
Because they only have bad experiences with cats. I'm like, you're just mean. You're just
so
mean.
Exactly. So I have something to say about that, if you don't mind.
Purr. Oh my God, me saying purr is actually on.
Right.
Oh my God. My Gen Z slang is working. Yes.
When someone says, I hate cats, no, you've had a bad experience with cats. You're allergic to cats. That doesn't mean you hate cats.
No.
There might be a mean cat, but there's a lot of mean dogs too.
Right.
But I'm just more of a dog person.
Also,
Well,
most
guess
people
what?
who don't like cats are because they're acting like the cat is a dog. Like,
Right.
you don't pet
It's a
a cat
different
the same
animal.
way as a dog. You don't
Right.
have the same expectation. It's not going to sit. It's not going to come when you call it.
Right.
It's not going to be happy to see you when you walk in. Like,
Well,
Puss
likes when I get home.
depends. Yeah, my
So
cats
does
do
Dave.
too. But
Dave
like
does.
new people,
And you
they're not
never
going
asked
to run
me
up
about
and
that. You
jump.
never asked me.
Well, I had like a 30-minute introduction for you, so I forgot.
But I also have a cat named Dave.
And a dog.
And a dog named Buster.
Cute.
So we have Dave and Buster.
no.
That's so cute.
They're the best. Buster's probably my favorite dog
Yeah,
of all time, too.
he's a good dog. He's a rough collie. So he's big and
Looks
beautiful.
like Lassie.
And sweet.
Anyway, had anyone seen Inside the Mind of a Cat before we watched it for this show, Bryce?
I had.
Really?
Yeah. So I was.
You saw it come out on Netflix and you're like, I need to learn about Franklin.
Well, me and my sister were
Immediately.
hanging out and we had just watched a movie and then we were watching cats watch cats.
You are so articulate. I can't even.
Just needed something else to put on, and that's what happened to fall.
While we were sitting there
Understood.
talking, we were watching cats. Mostly her cats were watching the documentary and
watching the cats in the cat documentary.
Yeah.
Were they for sure, for real watching?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they got excited.
That's cute.
Mom, had you seen this one?
Yes. I had not seen it before this, but I've watched it twice.
You watched it
I love
twice because
that.
you take this show seriously, as you should.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, all right. Inside the Mind of a Cat examines feline behavior and makes an attempt to explain how cats think and the interesting and unusual bond that cats form to their humans. A number of experts and talking heads take us through the biology, language, mannerisms, and of course, the history of cats and their introduction to domestication. All the while, one question is repeated throughout most of the documentary. The question that everyone really wants to know, do cats love us back? What do you guys think, Mom? Do cats love us?
Yes.
Why do you think that?
Because they show it in a lot of ways. I mean, they know their people, and I agree with with the documentary when they showed the cat that always went to the owner. Well, that was like, of course he's going to, unless she was abusive or didn't pay attention to him or whatever. He's going to go to her. But I had a story with do you remember Jasper?
Of course, I remember Jasper.
Beautiful gray blue Russian, and we had to. He couldn't travel with us when we started traveling back and forth to Texas, and we gave him to our daughter. Took him for a year, and it didn't work out very well with her. So I found a shop situation for him so he could be a shop cat kitty. And while I went back out to the car to get the food, and they let him out in this shop. Well, it was a 3-story shop with all this
cat stuff.
No, it was it was actually a groomer's place, but it was like 3 stories in an old building in Harlan, Iowa, and that cat hid, and we could never find him.
Oh,
he was so scared that he went and hid instead of acclimating him the way they should have done it. And I didn't know that for like 6 weeks. They were leaving food out at night, and they didn't know where he was, but he'd come and eat. And I felt so bad. I went back, and when I finally found out about it, I went out there, and the minute he heard my voice, he came out.
Aww.
So I know
even
that
after
cats have an affection.
a month and a half, too.
He was there for a month and a half, and the minute, and they were calling him and looking for him and all that. But the minute I said, Jasper, I heard him meowing, and he came out, and he was underneath like a stairway back, way back in the back. Oh, it broke my heart.
I bet.
It was just like, I know that he knew me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
If anyone tried to tell me that cats don't love us, I would just, even if it was scientifically backed, I'd be like, I don't believe you. Like, it just,
I've heard people say like, but, and this has, I think, been proven to be true that, if you pass away when in your cat's home, it will start to like eat you, like eat your flesh. And I think that that's true from what I've read. But to me, I go, good.
Yeah.
If it keeps you alive.
Yeah.
Eat me. I'm dead. What do I care?
My cats know that it's okay.
Yeah.
My cats know that I want them to survive more than myself.
To be honest, if I was stuck in
I'm already dead.
Right.
It's whatever.
But if we were stuck and had to survive, right, and our cat passed away, sorry, buddy, you're probably keeping me alive.
Yeah.
I'm not going to kill you to do it.
Right.
But it, you know what I mean? Like for that cat, it's survival.
Is this why that guy has 13 cats?
Oh my God. He's like a doomsday prepper.
Just,
yeah. He's prepping with
That's
cats.
true. Yeah. Or he's
livestock.
Or he's got like a brewery and he's trying to keep the mice
rodents out.
Yeah, which we learned about. I will say that this was probably the cutest documentary that we've watched.
For sure.
Ever. There was a lot of footage of cats and kittens doing cats and kittens things, and it did feel a little bit stock photo to me. The narrator sounded kind of cheesy, like what I was doing he sort of reminded me of like Mark Summers from like how it was made or whatever, how it's made.
Yeah,
where it's just
great show.
Find mind of a cat. So very public access television, and the stock photos and videos of the cats meow like wow.
And some of the videos were like the most well-known like YouTube videos
but
that
they're
you've
still
seen
funny. I still
that
laugh.
are viral, and so you already know what pop up.
But it's still funny.
But it was watching a cute cat compilation video basically
for sure. What were some things that stood out, Ma? Let's start with you. What's your first kind of standout moment about this? Something that you think about when someone mentions inside the mind of a cat?
Well, I think the thing that I like was that they found that cat mummified in with the child in Egypt.
Right.
I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, that shows again the bond with people with cats forever.
Right.
That was cool to me, in a good way.
Yep. I was looking for my spot in the notes. So they did mention to speak on what you were just talking about. I appreciated that as well. They went into how historically the bond between human and cat was formed, and basically how it formed a symbiotic relationship. Which takes us to why a lot of things happen. Like humans and dogs, I would imagine you go back to like sheep herding, right? So things like
Working
that.
dogs.
Working dogs. And then
We're just all around guarding,
right, guarding,
taking care
or,
of the family. You know,
or
they were
pulling a sled or whatever it
Out
may
of
be.
necessity and then
Right.
turned into
a bond.
for comfort
Right.
and
Cats were used as rodent catchers because they were perfect predators, which was really cool to see them talk about. Like if you were to create the perfect predator,
right.
it
Yeah.
would be a cat.
Right.
They're silent, they're flexible, their
Right.
reflexes.
they're
Have you guys-
quick.
Yeah. Have you seen the videos? They didn't show them on this, but of a cat's reflexes versus the strike of a snake.
No.
Have you watched that?
Yeah.
That is the most incredible thing.
Yeah.
They took so this house cat, it's like this kitten, right? And there was this snake that was all coiled up, ready to strike. And they just show it looking at the snake and the snake strike. And if you've ever seen a snake strike, it's fast.
It's so fast.
this cat
Scary fast.
bats its head down multiple times before it ever it's
Gets
like
to it.
the reflexes are that quick.
Like, whap, whap, whap.
Yeah. Pow.
I love when they do the whap whap noise.
Skibbity bat.
Skibbity bap.
Okay, so I have something to say about that.
Do it.
You've got the preying part of it. When we
Yeah.
were doing our cat program, a lot of times the cats that we caught, many of them couldn't go back. It wasn't safe for them to go back to the place that we trapped them.
Right.
But they also were not adoptable because they
Right.
weren't tame, and they were never going to probably ever be able to be tamed. Nobody had the time to do that, and some of them are just too long into the feral world. So we would look for barn cats, barns that would take them, farms that would take them as barn cats. And a lot of our farmers in Iowa, especially, they were sort of, they're just cats. Let them breed. They didn't care if they were fixed. They didn't care if they. Well, we educated them to let them know that a fixed cat was a healthier cat and better mouser and all that. Well, I also learned at that time that a cat's pounce rate is only 1 out of 9.
Oh, what?
So when they pounce
Hold on, what?
their success rate when they pounce
Oh, the six. Okay.
is 1 out of 9 times. So if you want them to catch mice, they need to be as healthy as possible.
Right.
So give them some food. Don't just say, okay, there's the mice. That's all you get.
Yeah.
Do your thing, yeah.
Because they're going to get them.
The barn situation seems like the perfect.
Yeah. It's a perfect thing.
It's like the perfect scenario because they have reliable protein from like leaving kibble out or whatever, and then also they'll get your mice
exactly
be healthy
exactly,
and then they don't have to socialize with people. People don't have to have all of a sudden 10 cats.
Right.
Yeah.
And I thought that was interesting to me that they could only,
I didn't know
9
that.
out of 10 times they don't get the mouse.
Yeah.
Right.
That makes sense why my cats
and so
never
now
catch
if they're
the
really
bugs in my
super
house.
hungry and they're not healthy, then
Right.
they're not going to get even that.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I thought that was
To go back a little bit about the relationship with humans. So they ended up bonding with humans. The rest is history. They used them as mousers, things like that. They protected farms and distilleries and ships. And that when we talk about the cats on ships, I have to bring up Herman the cat, right, from this documentary.
Literally so cute.
He joined
The Coast Guard.
The Coast Guard, which was really cool. Here. I just love the idea of having a cat on a ship.
Right.
If you've listened to the show, that that I lived on a ship. I was in the Navy, and I can tell you that emotional support.
It would have been so much more fun to be on that boat all the time, huh?
Yeah, that is real. It's a real thing. It would have been very helpful when you're on a ship to have, if you knew there was like cats running around, and you could have them come over to you and pet them. I would hope that everyone treats them decent, but I
Right.
could have used some pets on the ship. That would have been awesome.
You know how it feels when the cat sleeps on your chest.
I was
It's
just about to say, I would make it
completely-
my mission to make the ship cat be my bestie so that they could sleep with me because I'd be like, I'm chosen. The cat likes me.
Yeah, and to speak about that sort of, I guess, bond with humans and cats, had any of you ever heard of the direct correlation between the genocide of cats in Europe and the spread of the Black Plague?
Yeah. I did a 8th grade project about.
Really?
Yeah, it was, or no, sorry, it was 6th grade. I was like in the, it was like in a special projects like class that we got to like focus on one thing through the whole year, and I chose the bubonic plague. As a 11-year-old.
Yeah.
Issues in and of itself,
Yeah, I was
but
gonna
it's
say,
fine.
there's some things we need to unpack there, Molly.
Quite a few, but it's okay. So anyway, so I learned about it when I was like studying for that to do a presentation and whatever.
Right.
And like the whole connection between the like witch trials and that being connected to women and that whole issue, and then how that all like intertwines is insane because if you think about it, if men weren't the way that they were back in the day, we probably wouldn't have had the bubonic plague or as badly as it was.
Right. Well,
You know?
and so basically, if you didn't watch this documentary, they said wise women were, of course, thought to be witches.
Right.
They were smart.
Intelligent women who knew that a healthy home meant a healthy life.
Right. So someone who wants to keep their house
witches.
clean, which is where the broom comes into play.
'Cause they would
they're
sweep.
they're kind of a, I don't know if it's obsessed or whatever, but they're into keep, and then they kept.
I mean, the hygiene was a low threshold, to be fair, back in the day.
Yeah, if you're just if I just swept my house, it'd
And
be
someone was
filthy,
like, "You're a witch for wanting things clean." I'd be like, "Can I not?"
Excuse me?
Yeah, right.
But
Like
they
just
kept
because you're dirty.
right. They kept cats to keep the rodents away. And of course, somehow this is when the church felt like, well, this was wrong. And they decided to start hunting down all the cats because somehow they played into the, what do you call it? I guess the witchcraft of this. Poor Sweetie Puss upstairs wouldn't have stood a chance.
Neither would Trixie.
Yeah, because she was her furry, fat little self, and she would have.
Well, and black cats continue to suffer from that now.
They do, yeah.
I
They're
mean,
like the least adoptable cats. 'Cause
Dogs are
people-
too, but cats are just almost impossible.
I don't understand that because of the black cats that I have ever met or know in my life,
They're all amazing.
They are.
They're
All
all
but one.
so sweet.
They are.
all but one.
All
there
but
was
one. Who did you dirty?
Well,
All but one. Who?
it was Nikki's old cat.
Oh.
It was very.
Oh, that's right.
It was very sweet to Emmy and only Emmy, and it shredded
Yeah,
anyone
that-
else. It
that
drew
kitty-
blood. Yeah.
Yeah, that kitty had some problems.
Right. Yep. But anyway, when the cats were wiped out, the mice came out to play, which you cut down.
And I
the
think
natural
they
chain.
blamed a little of that on fleas. They said something
Yeah.
about fleas. I don't know if it was fleas because cats have fleas. Just as
Fleas
bad as,
carry
but
it,
would be-
and then they
it's in
live
the
on the
droppings.
rats because
But fleas can live on cats too.
Yeah,
they
that's what
can. But since rats are in dirtier places, they're more likely to get, and they are packs. Like rats live in packs. So once
And then
one
they
flea gets,
spread.
and then it just spreads like a plague.
Right.
But cats,
But isn't it also in the mouse droppings? No.
I don't know for sure about droppings with it. All I
Yeah.
know is that it was through the fleas, and then the way that it goes through rats is because they live in colonies, so it's hundreds, whereas like a pack of cats, stray cats, feral cats, whatever, is not going to be hundreds of cats together.
Can be anywhere from 2 to 200, just so you know.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my god. I've
Yeah.
never I want a pack of 200 cats.
Knowledge.
She just
Where's,
might
where's
Knowledge.
that? Where's that hi hat thing?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So that was honestly. We froze.
It's frozen on her
It's all
face.
right.
Oh, she's back.
So that was insane to me.
Yeah.
About
Yeah.
that, like how one of the deadliest plagues.
Yeah.
In the world's history.
Was related to the witches.
Directly related. Well,
To the
directly
cats.
related to the
Lack
cats.
of cats.
Yeah, so I agree. One of my standout moments was very much so that bond. And when they dug up the mummy, going, well, someone buried this cat with the person, which means it was probably pretty important to them. Or however they died, that cat was
Point
close
to the child.
Right, yeah.
It could have been the other way around too. So
someone buried the child with the
Yeah.
cat. Like,
Yeah.
like I'm
Like,
not
cat
gonna
died.
be live without my cat. So-
Honestly,
Gosh.
that's me.
Yeah, right, yeah. Bryce,
Yo,
PURRice. PURRice Necker. Standout. What stood out to you about this one?
I thought the cats with the talent.
Those were
from
so
the
fun.
Ukraine
Oh yeah,
were fun to watch.
What, talk to me about them.
They were trained cats to do tricks, like in a circus.
Yeah,
and they would climb up these poles and they would do these high dives and they
Yeah.
would jump through these hoops and
so
And they had their
backwards.
main cat, Dasha.
yeah. So I
Dasha.
actually didn't take any notes about those cats because to me, it didn't interest me as much. But so if you've got
Your loss.
yeah. I mean, I thought the cats were cute and you know, it takes
It's cool.
I know that I have, you know, obviously I said I have got 3 cats and I've had cats most of my life. You know, they've been around and I pointed to my mother, like she's had them in my life for quite
Right.
some time.
Yeah.
But I have never been successful with any kind of training of cats with the exception of like, you know, come here when you shake the treats and they'll
Food motivation.
right.
Yeah.
But to have them do something like that that part was astonishing to me.
This was the Mission Impossible one where the cat's
Yeah.
upside down crawling across the thing.
So the training of a cat, the amount of patience you'd
Yeah.
have to have to
And she said that. She said
Yeah.
it takes a lot of
And you have to be in a
patience.
good mood, which I thought was cool.
yeah, because cats are much more
Empathetic.
right. So it's a very different method than when training a dog. The dog wants to please you, but the cat doesn't care.
Right.
Right. So the cat wants to be able to trust you is what they said. Normal discipline won't accomplish that other than making the cat uncertain of you. So that's crazy to me when I think about, okay, what do I do to keep a dog or a kid or somebody from touching something that's hot or from doing something that, well, you maybe smack them or you yell or you spray them with the squirt bottle.
So
or,
that they know that that's
right,
something to not touch or whatever.
classic conditioning, which they talked about with Pavlov's drooling dogs, right? So if you ring the bell, the dog drools because it's associated that ringing a bell to being fed, right? Well, the same kind of thing, you know, would you would think would check out where, you know, I spray the cat with a squirt bottle but all it does is make them go, well, now I don't trust you.
Right. It's like I don't like that water and it's your fault.
Yeah, they
don't do that.
For something in their brain.
I think they get it though.
You do?
I do think they get
Okay.
it because even with Dave, all I have to do is like reach towards the spray bottle,
Right.
and he will back off, and I set it down, and then he'll just come up and lay down by me nicely
Yeah.
instead of doing what he was gonna do. So I think
There may
if
have been
done not too brutally or too abrasively.
Also,
I think
probably some benefit in starting it
that,
at the start of your relationship with the cat.
Sure.
Because like I have a 10-year-old cat that I just got like a couple of months ago, and if I think I whipped out a spray bottle on her right now and she hasn't ever had an interaction with like associating that,
she would think you were being mean.
she would probably just be
definitely.
like, what in the heck is
Sure.
wrong with you?
Yep.
right.
That was good, Molly.
Oh my God, thank you.
Oh, you
tried.
hacked.
Caught that.
I hecked.
You hacked.
I didn't meow.
So one thing they mentioned with regard to that is dogs think that we are gods.
Yeah.
Cats know
Cats-
they are.
Cats believe.
I live in
that
my
they
cat's
are.
house for sure.
They know they're
They know
gods.
they run my house.
Which I thought was pretty neat. Molly, what stood out to you?
Within the first couple minutes, they said something about how far up a cat can jump, and it's like 6 to 8 times the length of their body, and they compared it to a human jumping over a giraffe.
That was insane.
I'm really bad at like getting a mental image of like 6 to 8 times a cat. I mean, I'll watch
Right.
my cats jump up all the time, and they're obviously not as athletic as they could be. They're in the 59% of overweight cats. I'm not gonna lie, but it's
Yeah,
okay.
same.
We're working on it. We're working on it.
Mine are too.
But I was like, the comparison of like a person jumping over a giraffe, because that I can picture. I've seen
Right.
giraffes at the zoo. I know how tall,
Yep.
one Jeff size is, one Bryce size is, like that kind of thing. That's insane. So that's
Abnormally large.
literally at the exact like start of it, like 3 minutes in, I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
We had a cat named Ricky.
Yeah.
He was a brat, but he could
was an
we had like
athlete.
a floor to ceiling pantry that had it was just small, so it was packed full of stuff.
Yeah.
And I came home one day and he had jumped from the floor to the very top shelf and was
Oh
sitting
my
up there.
gosh.
He had to have just jumped that
Yeah.
tall.
That's crazy.
And where I had to reach all the way up to get whatever was on that.
Cats are
He's up there
crazy.
getting his treats.
I come home and find my cats in the weirdest spots. We
Yeah.
ended up at my old apartment. My cat was hanging out on top of our fridge and on top of the cabinets. That like we have the upper cabinets, and then there was like about 6 or 8 inches of space, and she was hanging out there up all the time. So we put a cat bed up there. She was up there nonstop because then she has the lay of the land.
right. She got the high ground.
Yeah.
And she's in the trees.
And it's her apartment. It was her house.
yeah.
And she's like, this is my kingdom.
And to speak on that, probably one of my favorite parts about the documentary was learning about the biology of the cats. I find it very fascinating that when they explain what's going on inside the cats when they're doing things, how they are the only animals who activate 100% of their muscles when they use them. And we can't even like fathom what that would feel like. We'd be sore for like a week if we activated our whole.
That's Bryce trying to run.
Yeah,
for his marathon.
Do we think that's why cats have to nap so often? I mean, they didn't talk about, and I know there's science behind the cat nap, where a cat has to nap, and I don't quote me on this, and you might know, Mom, but a cat has to nap like periodically, but they're not ever like fully asleep. It's kind of like a cat
Sort
nap.
of a twilight sleep.
Right.
Where they're resting and their blood pressure probably goes way down.
They're not in like a full REM cycle.
Yeah, they're mentally alert of what's going around them. I don't know what the time level is, but I know cats sleep about 20 hours a day.
It's crazy.
Oh, that makes sense why they go crazy when they do get the zoomies, though.
Right.
The frap.
And that's usually short-lived. I mean, those zoomies don't last very long if you can keep them. Well, with the kitten.
With
That doesn't-
Finnegan
that's-
upstairs,
does not count.
she like never stops. I enjoyed the explanation of the riding reflex, which uses hairs in their ears
Right.
so that the riding reflex, when they, everyone says a cat always lands on their feet. Well, they pretty much do, because they have a reflex in their ear, which humans have it too, they said, but it's just not as fine tuned as a cat's. And we also don't have the flexibility, the body movement and the cushion between our vertebrae that is just so flexible. And I liked learning also about their whiskers, and I think I had actually known this.
Yes, the whiskers are so fun.
I had known this before. I don't know if you told me this, Mom, at some point in my life, but how they kind of let them know what size hole they can fit through. Like if my whiskers are touching, then maybe I can, maybe I can't.
Kind of like a radar.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of felt attacked when they talked about how when a cat gets fat, their whiskers don't their whiskers don't take their whiskers don't take into consideration their added girth. I'm sorry, I have fat cats. It's
I
hard
had to look
keep
that up to make sure he was right, because I wasn't sure that was right.
But you see,
But they did say when you see cats with really long whiskers when they're young, it probably means they're going to be a very large cat.
Yeah.
Their normal weight is going to be.
Wow.
I have a long hair
predictive.
cat. She's got really, really long whiskers. She's got a lot of fluff. Can't really tell if she's fat, she's skinny. It's just like she's one big ball of hair. But we got her, one time we got her shaved, like a sanitary shave and whatever. And they ended up giving her a whole line cut. It was a whole ordeal. But they cut her whiskers. So they were like, I know. So
they're
they
not supposed to
they
do that.
trimmed the whiskers and they looked cute. Like they did them nice and flat. And she got home and I was like, she looks weird. And so I Googled it, and like, it's about balance. It's about like there's so many nerves and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, I was like, that's so bad.
They should have known better.
They
than
definitely
to do that.
should have. Yeah. But I mean, it was like a Petco or something.
That
so,
troubles me.
I know. And it was a really long time ago. So like, she's good now. Like they're super long. They grew back and everything's fine.
That's good.
They
I was
drop
like,
off. The old ones drop off.
I find them around my house.
I used
and
to keep
love
them in a little vase.
I want to do that.
Just find a little tiny vase.
I want to do, because, okay, so the long hair cat, I can take her like whiskers that have fallen off and stick it in her fur on top of her head and give her a unicorn horn for like a minute or two until it falls off. It's so cute.
My daughter, when we brush
I'm going to
Sweetie
start
Puss,
keeping them.
she will take the hair out of the brush and put it on Puss's head.
She'll sit down
Make a
on
little
Trump.
hat.
She looks like Trump. I have a picture. Maybe if I can find it,
Oh my
I'll
God.
put it up on our social
Please
media.
do.
But
Oh my God.
she looks like a little gray-haired
She
Donald
does.
Trump. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
It's
so
pretty funny.
cute.
Okay, let's see. What else? I have other stuff here. So they bring in a cat psychologist.
I want that job.
So that's a thing.
How funny would that be? To be
Well-
like, I am a cat psychologist.
What in the world is a cat psychologist?
What's your degree in? Like, how do you get that? You know what I mean?
Do you have thoughts on that, Ma?
No idea, but what was her name?
I don't know. I didn't. write it down.
Kristen?
Is she the irritating one or the one I didn't like?
Is it the one that was sitting in the tape
Shui or-
circle?
the one that had the little, no, not her.
The one from Japan?
The one, no, the one that had the little stick with the pom-pom on the end.
Oh, and she was like rubbing it on the cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about the slow blink.
There was a lot of comparisons of cat versus dog in this. Like people thinking that dogs are better, but actually they did a lot of experiments to see, on cats to see how they responded, blah, 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 blah. They did a name check where they put a cat in a room and had a speaker say a bunch of words and then their names, which I thought was kind of fun.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which it's funny because so Puss, my cat that I've had, that's the one we've had the longest, and I've had her for probably 10 years now. And I know she looks at me when I say Puss now. She doesn't if I say Aria, which is her actual name, but I call her Puss. And if I say that, she does perk up
I
and she
didn't
looks
even
at
know her name was Aria.
Right,
It's just
yeah.
always been Puss.
Yep. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Does Franklin come when you say Franklin, or does he?
It depends on the tone.
Yes.
Like
Okay.
if I'm just trying to get his attention, he doesn't.
Yeah.
But if he knows he's doing something that he shouldn't be,
Yeah.
and I go, Franklin, then he mostly does it anyways.
Yep.
But if I get
He'll
up,
look
then
at
he
you.
takes
but I'll
off.
hesitate for a second and then continue.
He'll look at you as he pushes the salt
Right.
shaker off.
Yes.
The, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He-
People tend to do this here, kitty, kitty, kitty thing.
Yeah.
If you use their name, they'll learn it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My cat's definitely, my Trixie definitely knows her name, but she mostly knows it because she has a tendency to meow after I leave. So she like runs around with the ball in her mouth and she'll just go meow, meow, with her mouth open with the ball.
Finn does that.
And so she's gotten used to me and my roommate at night when she gets the zoomies or whatever and she runs around or meows like that. She has gotten used to us going, Trixie, Trixie. So then she really knows. She knows that she's in trouble when we go, Trixie. But when I'm normally like, Trixie, come here, like Trixie, then she looks at me and then I'm like, come here. Or like the noises or we get her, like that's my cat's noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she knows the
Yeah. Puss knows the, and she also knows when I rub my fingers together.
Oh yeah, I tap my nails together.
Oops. Now I'm punching the microphone.
This is an ASMR podcast.
There you go.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Let's see. They had the cats choose between food, different smells, toys, and their person. They had cats choose between their person and a stranger.
Well, that was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, they would never go to a stranger.
Right.
But I feel like, so maybe I'm wrong here.
Maybe
I'm gonna
the
readjust.
stranger had food.
Right.
I'm still thinking about you going, Franklin.
So I can't help but think like, what if the cat didn't go to either, right?
Right.
Like I feel like if Puss was up there, she would just like sit there and look at both of them. And I'm not going anywhere. Yeah,
She
I don't know.
probably
So-
wouldn't go anywhere. And I mean, that doesn't mean any. To me, that really none of that meant really anything.
Agreed.
Yeah, also that lady's cat like immediately went into her lap and stuff and I was like, my cat would never
No,
do that. If
my
I
cat
sat on the
doesn't do
floor,
that.
I would love it.
Same.
But like if we were in my house, my cats would come to me. But if I took them to a weird like environment that they've never
Exactly.
been to and then sat on the floor next to a stranger, like they'd probably just sit there and stare at me, or like they might like walk around me and like be on my side of the room. But
Kind of wanted me to put a circle in the
I know,
floor and
Yeah.
maybe try some of this.
I do want to tape a
box.
box down to see if my cat will sit in it because they tend to
cats-
sit and go to stuff like that.
My cats don't care about boxes.
Mine don't either.
Dave doesn't very much either. He'll get in it once and then he gets out and goes.
Franklin's a big box guy.
Oh man,
Attaboy, Franklin.
Yeah.
Way to,
Attaboy, Franklin. Way to represent.
yeah, way to be the stereotype.
Yeah.
He's got these little like spring tunnels he likes to
Oh,
play
yeah.
in too.
Those are good.
So you put one of those next to a box, who knows what's going to happen?
He's
Good
in
day
heaven.
for Franklin.
Yeah.
Cat heaven. To me, it was really interesting when they talked about cats being such empaths.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever noticed that oftentimes cats resemble their owners or animals resemble their owners?
I hope so.
Yeah. I think that's why my cats like to eat everything in sight and sleep all the time. Is
Yeah, it
that,
could be
is
it.
that kind of, yeah. But but being empathetic, you know, to me that was a, you know, not necessarily to the, you know, empathetic in the way that maybe we think about being empathetic,
Right.
like, oh, you know, I feel your
Feel for
pain,
you,
you know, I
yeah.
understand and whatever. It's more like if I walk in and I'm, you know, angry and I'm, you know, whatever, the cat might be angry or on edge
Like tense,
or
yeah.
tense
Yeah.
and not know, you know, and they really kind of feel the mood of the room.
My cats totally know when I'm upset or sad.
And
Yeah.
I think that dogs do too.
Yeah, 100%.
Dogs are very empathetic.
Yeah.
They
that
always
way.
know like when you need them, I think, like in a way.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
they
for
come
sure.
like if you're crying, like your dog always comes straight to you. Your cat comes
Our
with
cats,
you. Like
our cats do that.
Our cats do too. My cat does too.
Absolutely.
He waits at the door with the dog when we come in the house. They're
that's
both
cute.
right there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll say, think the dogs are waiting for us? Open the door and there they both are,
That's
the cat
so
and the dog.
Aw.
Bryce, anything else you want to get off your chest about this?
Does Franklin come and comfort you? Lay on your chest and purr.
No.
Oh.
So there was some
Sorry.
interesting information about establishing a bond with your cats, and I'm going to go over a couple of them. And I think this was mostly the woman that you didn't care for, Mom. I don't remember her name, but
You have a stank
Suey
face.
or
You're like,
Suey, it started with an S.
Suey.
Yeah, something like that.
this is a pig
Started
podcast
with
now.
a S. So I don't know what it was.
So they talked about establishing a bond through the slow blink. Eye contact is very important, but direct and unbroken eye contact can be scary for a cat. So stand sideways and make yourself small and blink at them slowly. To a cat, it's like smiling. So I've been trying this on my cats, and I'm not going to lie. I think Finn is warming up to me because of it. Because I haven't
Finn
done.
didn't like you.
No, she never didn't like me.
Right.
But I feel like she's
More open.
more receptive to it. And like
And that's a dominance thing.
Mm-hmm.
If she felt like you're being too dominant over her, then that would definitely bring that
Yeah.
down to a level to where
Mm-hmm.
she would maybe be more approachable or willing to approach
Yeah.
you or whatever. And can't. And I there's nothing wrong with that. I believe
Yeah.
that the slow blink, but
Yeah.
that deliberately that she
Oh,
did
yeah.
it was kind of over
Yeah.
the top.
oh yeah, for
And
sure.
when
And
you
you definitely
ignore
don't
a
wanna
cat, they like you more
Oh,
too.
and you don't want to stare them down if they are looking you eye to eye.
I think that's what I had been doing because I'm so fascinated by
cats.
cats.
Me too.
So-
I stare at them all the time. I'm like,
They're,
oh, look at you just hanging
yeah.
out, staring at a wall. Look at you having
their
fun.
eyes are cool looking. Their
Yeah.
ears are cool
Right.
looking. Their everything. So when they're looking at me, I want to look back and be like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're bonding. you know?
And not to the cat.
Yeah.
Right. But to the cat, they're going, what is wrong with you?
Right.
So I've been more conscious of that. So if I notice that even with Puss or with Finn, if I'm looking at them, I will like make sure that I'm not maintaining eye. I stay
Even if
close
she
to
just
them.
look away
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
That's good.
And I think it's making a difference.
Well, and this is, I think, why, you hear people say, I don't even like cats, but I'm the first person the cat will
Yes.
jump up on. It's
Yes.
because they're not paying any attention
Every
to
person
them. There's no
I've
threat
ever
to the cat.
had
Right.
over with
That's why
allergies
they
to
do
them.
it.
Mm-hmm. They always gravitate towards people with allergies or people who are like,
Because-
I hate cats, but they don't leave me alone.
But other people that like them are down in their face going, oh, cat, I just
love you, love
yes. Well, a cat does not want
and then they're
that.
freaked out and they're like, oh my
Right.
God,
Yeah.
there's this crazy lady in front of me.
They go to the submissive person.
Yeah.
Right.
That's like more off to the side.
Another way to bond was nose touches with your finger. And if you're me, you go for the nose to nose. And
Yeah.
even if their breath smells like fish.
Terrible.
So that's another way. I liked them saying, don't come in hot from above. Which
I learned, that was the one thing I think I learned that I didn't know, and
Right.
it makes total sense.
for sure. Yeah, because they talked about you want to touch on what they talked about, or do you want
Well,
me to
if I can remember
Go for it.
explicitly enough, it was that if you come from the top down, it could be a predator that would be after them, would come from like an owl or an eagle or something that would come. They would come from the top and grab them from the top of the thing. And so it's an
can't
automatic
see,
reflex then for them to want to be defensive.
Right.
And I never thought of that before.
No, and it makes
Total
it makes sense because their instinct and even Puss to this day, 10 years of living with me, if I come in hot from above, she'll shrink
Or behind.
She shrinks.
Yeah.
Or shrinks back.
They're like, ugh.
And their ancestors would have been reacting to predators that way, like you said. So low and slow is the way to go, is what they said, which is actually pretty. I think that's good advice.
It was very good advice, and that is the one thing one of the things that I learned that I didn't feel like I knew. Or, not that I know everything, but
but
it
you're
was
pretty
pretty
close,
basic.
yeah.
I
And
mean,
it
the
was-
documentary provided a lot of like basic information to people who don't know a lot about cats, and you have a lot of cat knowledge, so it just happens
there's
to
something.
link up.
Yep.
They
I
also
need
said,
like an inside the mind of the cat for cat people, so that it's like
let's go deeper.
I want to know like the ins and outs of every. Like I want to know like little tiny things that I'm not going to know from Googling it.
Yeah.
Where are they hiding the toys?
Right.
Where are they?
Man.
Why do they want the toys under the fridge?
Right,
How did they get all these hair ties?
100%.
And where are all my hair ties?
They're right next to Puss's bowl.
yeah, Puss likes to put them in her bowl.
That's cute.
They also said to use a pom-pom on a stick for a cat who's untrusting. Have you ever heard of that?
No, I thought that was dumb.
Okay.
The only time I think the only time you would use a technique like that is if you're trying to approach a cat or that is probably in a carrier or a cage
Or has been
that
violent.
you
or
have no idea if it's going to bite you.
Okay.
The cat they were doing it with was
Very obviously.
very tame and
Right.
no problem. But if you have a cat like in the shelter and you don't know how it's going to respond, you would a lot of times they'll use a little back scratcher.
Oh yeah.
And they'll put
Little
that
hand.
in there and just touch the cat on the side of the face,
Just
like
to
they were
see.
doing with the pom pom.
Right.
But with that, just to see what the reaction is going to be. If it hisses and bites at that, then you know not to put your hand in there.
Right.
Yeah, true.
But yeah,
That seems like a
it
good
wasn't
tool
very
for
clear with
feral
that.
cats. Like if you're trapping and
Right.
doing that kind of stuff
If you
with
wanted
it,
to
but
find out if they were tame or not. But the
Not
way
for going
they
to
were
your-
using it
your
in
friend's
the
house and being like,
example
"Your cat
was
doesn't
not
like
very
you."
good. I mean, they were like had it on their lap and they're touching it with the pom pom. And
Yeah.
that's
You're past the point of needing the pom-pom.
yeah, you don't need the pom pom.
So,
I was going to bring a little pom pom stick.
oh, that'd been funny.
do you have
Yeah,
one?
but I couldn't find one.
Yeah, I'm sure you would have made one.
I could have made
Like
one
quilted one from home.
on
Yeah.
the end of a straw.
Right. So one more thing that I want to talk about quick before we get into ratings and feelings and all that good stuff. Cat language. So cats make over 20 different sounds, but they talk to humans even more than they talk to each other, which I thought was interesting. Why do cats talk to humans more than they talk to each other?
I think that's a learned behavior. They've learned that if they make a noise,
we pay attention.
there's a response.
yeah.
And
When
we're
we-
talking to them. So are they trying to
Oh my
mimic
god,
us?
Jeff, it's so annoying.
Maybe. I don't
You're
know.
annoying.
I don't know for sure,
Meowing.
but what I know is feral
stopped.
cats do not meow.
Yeah.
Are you listening, Molly?
Yes, I was just
She was
acknowledging
distracted
that
by
the
the-
cat meowing stopped.
Are you
Feral
paying
cats-
I
attention?
know. I feel like she's my
I
mom.
know. She just
Feral,
went.
I'm everybody's mother.
You are.
Feral
Universal
cats
mom.
don't meow. So when I trapped cats, there was one farm that we trapped 52 cats.
Oh my
and
God.
one day, I had 28 of them in my SUV
Oh my god.
in traps, and we had 17 miles to go to the vet's office.
Oh my gosh. Busy
Not
day at the vet.
one sound the whole time.
Silence.
Complete silence.
Wow.
Kittens all the way up to, big tomcats, all of them, not one noise. They don't meow at each other. They
So-
don't make those sounds to each other, but the sound they do make to each other is purring. And I was a little disagreed with them about the purring part a little bit.
Yeah.
They talked about that. But anyway, the meowing,
Yeah.
it's a response. It's to communicate with us.
So if you find a cat that is in the trap and it's meowing at you,
It's probably a stray.
It's probably
Yeah, lost or
was
stray.
lost or abandoned or something
Yeah,
like that.
lost, abandoned.
Okay.
It's been socialized somewhere.
What are some other ways, if you're in Western Iowa or Eastern Nebraska, what are some other ways that you could tell if a cat was, either maybe it was already trapped and fixed, or if it was a feral cat that was like, what are some other ways that you can tell?
Oh, well, we always, you're going to laugh at me.
I am. Yep.
We tip their ear.
You tip their
The
ear.
left ear. Now, hush.
Okay.
Now hush.
We take, when they do the surgery for the spay or neuter,
Yep.
they will clip off the very tip of the left ear.
Oh.
So if you see an outdoor cat
That's
and
got
you see it that's got that,
It was already neutered.
it's been neutered or fixed. So it's also been vaccinated. You know that it's not, going to be
Yeah.
multiplying a million cats,
Yeah.
Right.
and you should probably just leave it alone, because normally they're released then back into what's called a managed colony. They're getting some oversight. They're getting food. They're getting water, so they can just live out
and
there the way that they're. Yeah, that's their.
They're
environment.
not adding to the problem. At
Yeah,
that
Right.
point.
yeah, and they're being taken care of. They're being watched.
Yeah.
They're monitored, and yeah.
So
you can tell by
I used to give her a hard time because because I went to some of the pickups with her and whatever, and they would all talk, well, is the ear tipped? And they're like, nope, the ear's not tipped. Like, hold on. So what they do, what tipping is when their cat's under, they actually take a little
Notch
chunk,
out of
a
it.
little notch out of their ear. So you can see it from afar that there's a little like triangle out of it.
You won't get close enough to it.
But to me, that means it's untipped, right? Because it's
you
missing
took the tip off. Oh my
right?
God.
Oh, we're
So-
saying,
Like
So if it's-
de-tipped.
Right. So is the cat's ear tipped? If you say yes, that means there's no tip.
Instead of
So to
there
me, that's
is a tip.
completely backwards.
And it's the left side. So if you see a cat that's left without a tip,
Yes.
Ah.
it's a good system.
It
Do you
is a good
see?
and some organizations will do the right. They will notch, and we'll just use that word.
I like
instead.
that. Notch
No,
makes
notch
sense. Yeah.
the right ear if it's a female, and the left ear if it's a male.
Oh.
But it's better if it doesn't matter.
Right. What
At
does it
that
matter
point,
at
it
that
Because
doesn't
you're not
matter.
getting close to it
Yeah,
anyway.
and
it's
they're
not having babies.
Yeah, it's not going to have any babies. There's
Yeah.
no threat
Mm-hmm.
of that. So they put them on just everybody do it on the left, regardless.
So they talk about the language. That was kind of interesting to me. It sounds like maybe you have a different idea on that, but the different coos and chirps that a cat can make and how they generally mean different things. Probably the most interesting thing to me, and you just mentioned it a little bit, was the purr.
Yeah.
Here's go ahead.
Well, I think he makes it sound like the purring is specifically for humans,
Right.
which isn't true.
Okay.
Baby, little infant kitties, the babies,
Right.
purr to their mothers. They can't see, and
Right.
they'll purr. They listen for their mother, and
Do you-
the
do you
purring
think,
between
though,
the mother
that-
and babies, it has nothing to do with humans at that point.
Do you think that anything about like whether it's them, like whether through like evolving a way to survive in an environment or a just over time. What do they call it when? Anyway, basically just adapting to environments that they can, even if it's not an instinctual, like I am doing this so the human will take care of me. If it's something that they kind of
An automatic response.
But they also learn to associate that with.
I think that's true. Yeah.
I think so too.
Because if the babies are doing it with their mother and they realize they can do it to us to get what they need,
Right.
just like that's why they need on you.
Yeah. If my cat comes up to me and wants pet, I start petting, it purrs. I'm like, oh my God, she loves me.
Right.
She's loving this. And then I pet extra good. I pay extra attention to it.
And they maybe understand that if I do this more, I will get extra ear scratches.
The baby crying thing, I feel like
meowing is more baby crying.
Yeah, your maternal instinct is activated with baby crying because it's like distress, but like purring doesn't. Like, and obviously I'm not a scientist, but like purring doesn't seem distressed to me. And I feel like my maternal instinct doesn't kick in the same way, you know, because that's like, oh my God, yay, so cute, like whatever. Versus a baby crying, I'm in fight or flight. I'm like, where's the noise? How do I help? What's going on?
Right.
Kind of thing. And like, I'm not a mom. So Kathy, you would be the best resource for it. But like, I don't think that those are necessarily 100% tied.
Bryce, thoughts?
Bryce, mom?
Yeah. Anytime I hear a baby crying, I
Mother
just
Bryce.
kind of try
Leave.
to tune it out, you know. but if I hear a kitty, then I, gotta find it.
Then it's a party.
Where's the cat?
Where's the cat? So are babies imitating cats?
Yes.
Oh, good point.
You were holding a cat like a baby earlier upstairs.
That's true. I wouldn't be able to tell the difference if
you hear two male cats outside fighting.
Yeah.
Or male and a female in heat outside, that sounds more like a baby crying than any purr I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I mean, it's horrible.
Yeah, it's true.
It's bad. It's loud.
It sounds like kids screaming.
babies sound bad.
Yep.
Yeah, babies are obnoxious. Yeah.
Man, I'm glad there's no babies around right now. They'd be really offended to hear this.
All right, so how did we feel after watching this? Credits roll. Kathy, Mama Cat, how'd you feel?
I didn't really get a big point out of it.
Right.
I didn't really know who the message was for. I'm not even sure what the message was.
Yep.
I mean, it was interesting and it was a little informative and it was some good photography, but I really felt like I really could have missed it.
Yeah.
I'm glad it was only an hour.
Yeah.
Yep. Bryce, how'd you feel?
So I'm a big fan of TV for cats on YouTube. You turn that on and you watch your cat try to destroy the TV or just stare at it and turn around and look at you like, look at the size of this bird. It's way too big.
Yeah.
So
I haven't watched that.
I feel like this documentary it's made for cats.
Okay.
And then it's just something to have on in the background for humans. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Meowly?
I liked it because my cats kept coming downstairs every time they heard the meowing.
Yeah.
And so I got a lot of attention from my cats.
So you basically you're
Same thing.
co-signing what Bryce said.
I'm co-signing both. Yeah. It felt like it was made for people who don't know anything about cats.
Yeah.
But someone who's going to put on the documentary Inside the Mind of Cats is probably a cat person because people who aren't self-proclaimed cat people are usually cat haters.
And but it wasn't really for children either. I
No,
mean, children
it was
could
like-
watch it, but it wouldn't have held my kids' attention
Yeah.
through the whole thing.
They couldn't read the subtitles anyways.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
True, yeah. I felt
It's fine.
good enough. I mean, it was
Cute.
anything with cats is fine, but however, I did feel like it was pretty cheesy public access television type feel. I didn't really love how it was made and kind of, the overall feel of the film.
I liked the history parts of it. Those were cool. Like
if
Herman and the Egyptian part and like kind of the history of it and like the footage and pictures that you don't normally see, but the rest of it was just a YouTube compilation.
The Herman the cat joining the Coast Guard was my favorite part. I liked the little vintage piece where or call it a paw print, or whatever instead of a fingerprint. So it was cute. Points for cuteness, I suppose. But overall, it seemed pretty remedial.
Yeah.
And I agree with you that I don't know who it was for. What was the point of this?
Yeah.
So
it didn't have a real strong message. It didn't have a real strong structure to it. It was sort of all over the place.
They never
Here's cat stuff.
Yeah.
There you go.
As far as stones left unturned, they never talked about why cats make biscuits.
Oh my God. I was
I
waiting
know,
for that
I
the
knew
whole
that.
time.
But everybody knows that, though.
I don't.
I don't. Teach us, Kathy.
Seriously, you don't.
Do you, Bryce? PURRice?
Do you know, Bryce?
Yeah, I know, but I'm not telling.
When baby kittens nurse their mothers, they need her
KNEAD.
KNEAD. They need for the milk.
If you're
So
not
they need
watching,
on her
if you're
tongue.
not watching the video, you should
She's
because
kneading.
Mom is kneading the air right now.
And it's
so
a
is
very
Bryce and Molly.
it's very comforting to them because they're with their mother and they're drinking nice warm milk and they're being nourished and they're warm.
So
And so when they do that to you, you should feel very special.
is that why they always want to do it on parts that are very sensitive to the human body
Yeah.
that doesn't always feel great?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, like your
great.
stomach or
Yeah.
Chest.
When my
Yep.
cat puts all 10 pounds of her
Yep.
weight in her 2 front paws
Yep.
on the middle of my stomach, I'm like, oh my God, move it. Or right on my bladder when
How
I wake
many
up in the
pounds?
morning.
but know that is comfort for them and they're in their zone.
They're in their zone.
My cat weighs 17 pounds.
Okay. One of them is 12 and a half. She was 13 and a half. We came down. The other one, I don't know.
Do you know that 1 pound on a cat loss is like 10 pounds to a human?
I know. I was really proud of her when she got down the half a pound, and
So
then
that's
we
really
moved
good.
and she lost a half pound from stress, and I was like, oh my God, you're skinny. Look at you.
All right. Finally. Oh, I moved her.
Puss is
There we go.
17 pounds.
Last time I checked, yeah. But I think she may have lost some weight since
She
we got Finn.
She looks great. She's like,
I know. She wears it well.
yeah,
She looks
really
like a
does.
loaf.
Yeah.
She's well proportioned. Like my cat
Yeah.
has a really small head and a fat body, so
That's
she looks
Finn.
worse.
That's how Finn's
but
getting.
Puss has a big head, so she like wears it well.
Yeah. She's just like her dad. Big head. All right. Finally, we've come to the time where we need to rate this documentary with an official documentary rating. Each crew member scores the documentary on a scale of 1 to 10 items, with 1 being as bad as a spray bottle to the face when you get on the counter and you're not supposed to be, and 10 being as great as sharing a brunch with 10 neighborhood cats in Istanbul.
Cute.
Which, by the way, was a cool part.
Yeah, it was cool.
The Istanbul cat colonies that they just...
And they also have those in Rome and in Greece. It's like illegal to mess with them.
That's awesome.
I love that.
I want to go to a cat cafe too. Those would be fun.
Yeah.
The item that is used for scoring changes each week depending on the content of the documentary that we watched. This week, we will be using hairballs as our rating item.
That's good, Jeff. You've heard it enough.
Let's start with Mom. How many hairballs do you hack up for this documentary?
I'm going to hack up 3 hairballs. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Though.
Why only 3? That's a pretty low score.
Well, I think, I've expressed that I felt like I didn't learn much new. I didn't quite know who it was for. I didn't really, I would have shut it off probably.
If it wasn't for this.
If it wasn't for this.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have watched the whole thing.
Right.
And I only watched it twice because I was afraid I was not really paying attention the first time. It didn't have my attention. So
Yeah. Okay. 3 hairballs. MEOWly?
Are you gonna make the noise?
You know I am.
That makes me feel like I need to lower mine. I gave it 5.
I won't do it.
Okay, here we go.
You can do it. Oh, I like that one had the numbers like interlaced within the gag.
5. It's halfway between the best thing you've ever watched and the worst thing you've ever watched.
Yeah, it was cute. It was short. I like cats. It was cool cat information.
Okay.
A lot of which I knew, but it was fine.
Bryce?
I wouldn't watch it again, but it was cool.
I'm interrupting you on purpose.
That's okay.
Yeah. Bryce?
I don't think it was perfect.
Okay.
And I don't think it was a catastrophe.
Oh my God.
Man, that's so good. Why don't
So I
think
gave
of
it
that
just
stuff?
5 in the middle.
5.
We just lost half of
Yes.
our
Yeah, they're gone. If my sister Lauren's listening to this, she turned it off at the first.
My sister thinks gagging is really funny. I'll have to make her listen to just this part.
Yeah.
She'll
Nice.
die laughing.
All right, so 5.
Yep.
Because?
Yep.
Well, it was just pretty standard documentary and just the guy talking, but they had a lot of cats, so there you have it. Plus, they put a GPS tracker on a cat, which cute. I thought was cool.
I forgot to go into that. Can you talk just a little bit about that before we do our final ratings?
Right. Yeah. Distilleries and breweries.
It was in Ireland, wasn't it?
Scotland.
Okay. Yep.
So they should all have cats because if you're working with a lot of grain, you're attracting a lot of mice. Mm-hmm. Get yourself a good mouser. And like the other cat that they had, he just hung out in the bar the whole time,
socializing.
But the female cat would go out and do all the hunting.
I think it was really interesting because every shop should have a cat. Any shop that has, I mean, that'd be such a great way. That was kind of what we were trying to promote too, is more shop cats.
Right.
And I think it was, I can't remember the name of the company that was out in Shelby. It was big Menards or some kind of they have a warehouse out there. Mm-hmm. And they called and said, we have a cat out here that just had 6 kittens. Come and get them. Wow. And I tried to talk him into taking the cat back after we took care of the kittens. And he said, no, we can't have them here. And I said, well, you're going to have them anyway. Yeah. They're going to show back up. You've got the perfect environment. You might as well have some regulated ones. You know? Right. Put them on the payroll.
Yeah.
One thing that I learned was that when they talked about how far that the cat roamed.
Yeah.
Weren't they talking about that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I learned that a male cat, stray or a feral male cat, will have a route of about 10 miles.
Oh.
That he routinely...
A day?
A day.
Oh, my God.
And he goes from harem to harem to harem to harem.
Spreading his seeds.
Spreading his seeds around. That's why it's so important to trap, neuter, and neuter and return and not let these cats...
Boy, is getting around.
Very important to spay and neuter your pet.
Okay, Bob Barker.
Yeah. Spay and neuter your pet. And that's what... Oh, I have to say this.
She got to get her notes.
I got to look at my note because I thought it should have... I would have a better documentary or a better question would be what's going on in the mind of humans that they don't spay and neuter their animals and allow... You know how many... There's 60 million... feral cats in the United States.
Oh my God.
Dang. How many people are there?
Fix your cats.
Such a great question.
I don't know.
Okay, so my rating, my amount of hairballs is 1, 2, 4. 4 hairballs, just less than halfway. I didn't love this one. Besides, like what you guys said, it was cute.
Yeah.
And it was fun talking to you guys about it. This was a fun episode. So... after averaging everyone's scores, the official Talkumentary rating for Inside the Mind of a Cat is 4.25 hairballs.
That's pretty good. Yeah. That's very good.
There we go.
Your throat sore.
Oh, no.
All right, meow. No. All right, meow, meow, meow. I want to thank you, all of you fuzzy little cuties, for tuning into this episode. I'm sure we all need to get a litter box here soon, so let's start wrapping up the show. I want to give a very special thank you to Mama Cat herself for joining us today. I hope you had fun.
I did. Thank you so much for having me. I hope I can come back again someday.
Yeah,
I hope so too.
Stop going to Texas and maybe you will. Well, we can do digital calls too.
We could.
So.
Yes.
But
also stop going to Texas and just come hang out all the time.
Yeah, there you go. Do you have anything you want to talk about? Spaying and neuter your pets? I know that's your message to the world.
Well, I think I did just do that. And I do want to thank everybody that I know at Western Iowa Feral Cat that continues to work on that. And Atlantic Community Cats is a new organization in Atlantic, Iowa.
Cool.
That they finally got going. We worked there for so long trying to get it going, and it's finally going.
Awesome.
And all the vets out there that
Cheryl
give special
Kanata
price. Yeah, Cheryl Kanata, Dr. Schultz.
Dr. Schultz.
Yeah.
And special shout out to Pam.
Oh, yeah.
Pam.
She'll love it.
Are you saying
Pan?
Are you saying Pan?
Yep.
Pan. As always, thank you. Go ahead.
Oh, any vet that helps spay neuter these unknown cats, because the cost can be
get up there,
really up there, and so all they do for us is really good.
Yep. for sure. Thanks, Ma.
Yeah, thank you.
As always, thank you to PURRice and MEOWly for being part of the crew and being the goodest little kittens. Let's talk about next week's episode. You guys are in for a treat next week. We are going to be taking a trip to the town of Nilbog to discuss a documentary about a movie, but a very, very specific movie. We're going to be watching the best worst movie. That's right. We're going to be covering the 2009 documentary about the making of the infamous film Troll 2, which has nothing to do with Troll 1 and doesn't even have any trolls in it.
Correct.
Isn't that crazy? I'm so excited about next week's episode. We have an incredibly special guest for that episode. We have, what's his name? I know his name, but what was his name in the movie?
Dad.
Mr. Waits.
Mr. Waits.
Mr. Waits himself, George Hardy. He will be joining our show for about half of our episode. So that was really fun. Both of you were there. So I hope you guys enjoy that episode. Mom, have you ever heard of the best worst movie?
No, I haven't.
I know they have because
No, I haven't.
yeah. Well,
Have you ever heard of Troll 2?
I've never heard of Troll 1.
Well, lucky
don't
for
need
you, Troll 1 has nothing to do with it.
so
You should really watch it. It's great.
As a special bonus, and Mom, you can check this one out. Bryce, Molly, and I will be broadcasting a watch party on our YouTube channel next Wednesday.
So you can watch it.
Yeah.
Because you can watch it with us.
So next Wednesday, the day before our normal episode airs, you can get onto YouTube and watch the movie. So that's pretty cool. You can also get onto Tubi or Amazon Prime, find Troll 2 and watch along with us on our YouTube page, because we can't put the actual film on YouTube because there's copyright issues and all that, but we can show a video of us watching Troll 2 and you can watch Troll 2 on your own on Tubi or Amazon Prime, and it'll be a fun little party. So there you go. Everyone go out, check out the documentary Best Worst Movie before next week's episode. It can be streamed on Tubi and Amazon Prime Video as well. And also watch Troll 2 along with us on our YouTube channel. You can find us at Talkumentary Podcast. As I said at the beginning, rate and review our podcast. Follow us on all this stuff. If you've been listening this long and you've been listening to our shows lately, you know it's time for our word of the week. So go to our social media or our YouTube or somewhere and comment the word. Mom, pick a word.
Oh my
Any
goodness.
word. First thing that comes to your head. Hurry.
Hairball.
Hairball. Okay, fair enough. Hairball. Comment hairball in a sentence, or draw a picture of a hairball and put it on our or something, or take a picture of your cat's most recent
No, don't
hairball.
do that. Don't do that.
Oh, you can.
No, don't.
you
Please
can.
don't.
Yes, you can.
Ew.
We will give a
I
shout
won't
out.
look. It's okay. You can do it.
You don't look at our social medias anyway.
I don't have
I have to.
the social medias.
I know. You're such a Gen Zer that you're too cool for social media.
You're right.
You will get a shout out in one of our future episodes. So next week, join us as we turn people into plant matter so we can eat them one documentary at a time. On behalf of Mama Cat, Kathy Humann,
Hey.
Good golly. Oh,
You did it.
See, you did it.
You did
good
the
golly,
damn
Miss Molly.
thing. Meow.
Bruce.
Wow.
Matt and DJ in that post-production booth, and the entire Talkumentary family. I am your host, Jeff CLAWsky, and I want to thank you all for listening. I hope you keep your minds open, be kind to each other, spay and neuter your pets,
Exactly.
be kind to cats because they're empaths, and if you're in a bad mood, they're also in a bad mood. So, we'll see you next week. Bye.
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 And now we have our new tradition, which I have just started. This is the post episode trivia. So if you're just joining us, we actually started this next week because we're not doing these episodes in order, but we have started doing a couple random trivia questions about the subject matter of our document,
fun.
but it's after the goodbyes and everything, so you have to stick around to the end if you want to participate. And the fun thing is you guys get to play at the same time because I'm going to ask you some questions. So before Molly gets back, we're not going to do all 70, but 70 plus cat trivia questions for pet owners.
Ooh la la!
Look at that.
That'll be fun.
See it. Hold on. You see that? I really hope that when we take the footage from Zencastr here, that it's a lot clearer than it's coming up right now, which I hope so, which it usually is, so that's good. Because right now it looks very fuzzy.
Like a cat.
This one doesn't look as...
No.
They look better than...
They look better than us. Don't say that, Mother.
I mean, it looks so good.
We have good DNA.
It looks a little clearer is all I meant.
Yeah. If you're a cat owner, you know how adorable and intelligent these creatures are. But how much do you really know about their history or the way their body works? Here's some cat trivia that just might stump you. You could learn something new about your furry friend today, so pay close attention. We're going to get started without Molly, I think.
Okay.
Which U.S. city had a cat for a mayor for almost 20 years?
Wow. I have no clue.
Do you want to guess what state that was in?
West Virginia.
Nope.
New Hampshire.
Nope. It is Talkeetna, Alaska.
Alaska?
Talkeetna, Alaska had a cat as their mayor. We started without you, Molly.
That's okay.
Okay.
There's a boy in your house upstairs.
Is it Jaden?
I don't know. Probably.
Okay.
Is he stealing stuff? Or?
Yeah. Does he look like he's welcome?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Does he look like he's welcome?
Does it look like the women upstairs are accepting of his presence?
Yeah, it looks like Autumn's really accepting.
It's Jaden.
Okay, that's Jaden.
Hey.
Okay, how many pet cats live in the United States? About, if you were to guess, Ma?
55 million.
All of them.
30.
Bryce is closest.
What?
Bryce is closest so far.
37 million.
88 million cats live in the United States.
Wow.
We're still family friendly, so watch.
Exactly.
I know. I'm just saying.
I've been doing
I'm reminding
so proud of you.
I am proud. Are you proud of me?
I am very proud
Okay,
of you.
good.
I'm always proud of you.
See, that's
She has
why
to
I
be
like
my
her.
mom right now. She's proud of me. I'm just kidding.
What year was the first known cat video recorded?
Oh.
Yeah.
When did video cameras come out?
1980.
No.
1854.
You're pretty close. 1894.
A video?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The first cat
I was
video.
Pretty good.
Had to be on Larry's RCA big old camera.
It had to have been before that. It had to have been actual like crank camera.
Do you know what the video was? Is that part of the trivia?
Doesn't say.
Boo.
No. We can look that up.
Okay.
What is
It was
the,
probably that cat that was on in the
ship.
Coast Guard.
Yeah.
maybe? What is the average number of kittens in the litter?
4.
3 to 4.
Oh, wait, really?
Nice
that was a
job.
total guess. I
Yeah.
just wanted to go
I was
before
gonna-
Kathy because she
I was gonna
probably
say-
knows.
Well, I was going to say 4 too, but I didn't know for sure.
Nice.
Besides litter, what is the proper term for a group of kittens?
Clouded. Oh. I don't know. A group of cats is clouder.
Clouder. I like that.
That's not on here, but it says, what is the proper term for a group of kittens? And there's 3 words, and one of them is litter.
Oh.
I don't know.
This is interesting.
Yeah.
A kindle,
Oh,
That's cute.
a litter, or an intrigue?
I've
Oh.
heard of a Kindle before.
Kindle's cute.
I read on my Kindle.
Yeah.
All cats are born with what color eyes?
Blue.
Mom got it.
Nice.
Who was the first and only cat to go to space? Who cares? For which purpose?
Well, there's Sputnik the dog. So I'm going to guess it's Fluffy the cat.
Felicette. Felicetta?
Felicita.
Something.
It's for
Yeah. Let's see.
He's skipping questions.
Yeah. Well, it's what is a cat's tail for? I mean,
Balance.
Yeah.
Being
what
cute.
part of a cat is as unique as a human fingerprint?
Oh, I know this.
Say it.
Bop head.
Nope.
Nose.
Nose print?
It is
It's
the nose. Yep.
I knew that.
Cute.
Yes, their
Oh,
nose
I
is
love
every
cats.
nose is different.
I'm so glad I get to go home and cuddle my cat because
Kiss
he's just
their
making me
nose.
want to. So cute.
Among male and females, which cat is more likely to be left pawed?
Cats can be
Male.
left pawed
I didn't
versus
know that.
right pawed?
Yeah.
Male.
Yeah, it's male. Let's get one more in.
Yes, that was a total guess.
What?
Good job.
I had a 50% chance.
Oh, some of these are good.
Oh.
A cat can't taste what flavor?
Sugar.
Yeah, sweetness.
What?
Knew it.
Interesting. So
I guess
that's
that makes sense why my cats only like chips and they don't
yeah.
like
They
sweet.
don't. They,
They
don't
like
care.
salt, but
Yeah,
they don't.
my
they're-
cat
they're not
loves licking
attracted at all to-
cheese off of like cheesy chips and stuff.
Yeah, cheesy chips.
It's because they're already so sweet.
Where's the top hat? Or top hat. No, that's a high hat. We need the high hat.
A lot of
Thank you all
noises.
Cat
for
in the hat.
thank you all for hanging out for the end of our little cat trivia.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks to our listeners.
Thank you, Molly, for picking this.
Thanks for
You're so welcome. Thanks
so
for watching
hoping-
it twice.
I was kind of hoping someday I'd get to be on, so no.
You
I'm
knew
so
you
glad
would.
you did.
I didn't. Yeah, but
you would. You knew
what
you
documentary? You know, it's like, ooh, some of the
If you-
documentaries are pretty weird.
Would. Yeah,
That
they
is
really are.
true.
If
You were this close to being on the Gigi Allen one. So
oh, she hasn't heard that one yet.
What is it?
You might want to skip that one.
I skip a lot of them.
I don't know how I feel about that. You don't skip that many of them.
No, I try to listen to most of them.
We're too potty mouths sometimes for
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'm gonna work on it now that I know that Kathy listens to them religiously.
you.
I'll be like at the top of the episode and be like, "This one's for you."
So on that,
Especially if you start saying it and then you stop.
Yeah.
And you go, that's for you, Kathy. That's for you.
yeah.
I would be like,
just-
"What the heck are you doing?" That's for you, Kathy.
we'll just have to add in meows to all the episodes.
Every
from
single
now
one.
on.
Yeah.
Yes.
On that note, I hope you all have a good night, and we will talk to you all very, very, very soon. Slow blink to your cats and pet them behind the ears.
Meow.
That's
pretty
a good
good. Bryce, do your deepest meow.
Can't do it.
Do it. Meow.
Meow. Jeff. Meow.